Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio. Ours is a place where dreams take flight, voices are heard, and stories are shared. This is where cultures meet, connections are formed, and ideas are transformed into action. This is your destination for authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives, and meaningful conversations. We're where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover our world of education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our USA Global TV channel and download our USA Global TV app. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. With heartfelt thanks to our executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, music scored by Yifei Tang from Cloud Road Music, creative direction by Paul Garcia, and I'm Al Cini, and I'm very proud to be part of the USA Global TV and Radio family. So join us here at USA Global TV and Radio. Make us your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Thank you for being a part of our global community. Let's inspire together.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome back home to USA Global TV and Radio, where I'm delighted to have you with me on today's show, Authentic Achievements. Now, we are expecting to have a guest, but they're not here with us yet. So in the interim, we'll just get started. And the subject, which was the guest's subject, was around AI in children's books. Oh, and I'm delighted to say the guest is here. So it was only momentary. But before we bring him out, let me tell you just a little bit more about Mark. So we're going to be joined today by Mark Darden, who is a travel and fitness enthusiast from the great state of Ohio. Born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio, Mark developed his passion for travel and fitness at a young age. Some of his fitness accomplishments include Arnold Pump and Run, Big 10K, Fight for Air Staying Climb, CN Tower Climb for United Way, 2016 Rite Aid Cleveland Marathon Challenge Series, 8K and a full marathon, and many, many more. As a travel enthusiast, Mark is always ready to explore the world. And some of the places he's visited include Chicago, Los Angeles, New York, Dallas, Toronto, London, and Berlin. And he's often said, when the glasses are on, there's some travel going on. So without further ado, here is Mark.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Hi, Mark. Welcome. Are you good?
Doing pretty good this morning. Doing pretty good.
I'm so glad to have you on the show. And let's start by talking about, is Elijah Goes to Philadelphia, is that your first children's book?
No, it's not. It's my second book. My first book was Elijah Goes to Cleveland, and it was based on my hometown of Cleveland, Ohio. So that was my first journey into children's books, and Elijah Go to Philadelphia is my second one now.
Oh, fabulous. And what gave you the idea? What got you interested in writing children's books?
So during COVID, when a lot of businesses were shut down and I had a lot more time on my hands to think about what I wanted to do next, and I said, hey, maybe I could write a children's book. So did some research on Google, joined a couple of organizations, and then wrote the Elijah Goes to Cleveland in 2020 and 2021.
Oh, wow. Because it's, I'm so interested because I've personally just ended up in a bit of a foray of, I normally write books on leadership and that, and I wrote one for my little girl a couple of months ago, and I've been very lucky that it's been picked up by a publisher, but it is quite a different genre, isn't it? Writing for children instead of writing for adults. So how did you find the whole process? What was your greatest learnings?
For me, it was just going on Google, and there was one person in particular that had like a litany of like information that I could have used. Shout out to Brooke. She was the person that had her website up, and I learned a lot from her website. And there's some things you just go from just trial and error. So you may try out one thing, you think it works, and then you realize that it either doesn't work or you can improve on it. So I had a lot of those instances over the last few years as well.
Yeah, but I think that's it, isn't it? It's like such an it's such an iterative process, and it gives you that opportunity to learn. And I think, like with everything in life, we do keep iterating, don't we? We keep learning the bits that go well and learning the bits that don't go well, finding some solution for them. But I think also that you've kind of managed to incorporate two of your passions. So one writing the stories, but the other one about them being about travel and bringing that travel to life for children, because often some children don't have the luck to be able to travel to lots of places, do they?
Yeah, like I was pretty fortunate growing up, where my aunt, she would take me to places like Washington, D.C. or down to Georgia, where I actually be able to experience different areas of the country and as well as different cultures. And then that love of travel just stuck with me throughout middle school, high school, college, and now as an adult.
Wow. I love that, because clearly it sparked that passion in you, and now you're able to take that passion and that lived experience and hopefully spark it in others. So could you bring to life for us a little bit more how you came up with the idea of Elijah Goes to Philadelphia, and actually the earlier book, Elijah Goes to Cleveland. So you talked about it was during COVID, but where did the idea come from, and then how have you found the process of turning that from an idea into the books?
So for Elijah himself, that character is based on myself when I was about 8, 9 years old. And initially I was going to name the character Eric, but I just didn't like how it rolled off the tongue. So I looked for names that began with the letter E, and Elijah was one that came up. As for the process of writing a book, I first had to nail down who my target audience was. So people say kids books and they just think of kids. It can range from 0 to about 12 years old. So I had to find the right age range to where I could write the books for. And for my books, they're normally for kids around 4 years old to about 8 or 9 years old. So once I figured that out, then I had to look and see how many pages that usually children's books are. And I found out most of the time they're 32 or 40 or some number divisible by 8. Okay.
I didn't realize that. I never knew that it was divisible by 8. I knew they kind of varied in size, but I guess they're quite bespoke, particularly for that age of child, isn't it? That keeps their attention and gives them an opportunity, particularly for the kind of 8-year-old, to be able to read the story for themselves as well.
Yeah, that was one thing I learned is let's say if you do a kid for a toddler like 0 to 3, most of the time it's a board book and it's usually 24 pages. And then once you get a little older, then it goes up to 32 or 40 or 48, 56. And then you get even more pages the older you get. So really just trying to understand who the target kids are. And it can vary pretty quickly depending who the kid is. Because some kids could be like 3 years old, but they're ready for a book for a 6-year-old. So it really depends.
Yeah, it's got to be able to flow with them, hasn't it? And give them. My little girl's 8, so the kind of the area that you're talking about. I understand the changes that she's gone through in that 4 to 8. What she needs to be able to kind of take that evolution and stay engaged and engrossed with a book and the message behind it. So can you talk to us a little bit about, actually what I'd like to show them first is AI in the publishing industry, and then we'll move to the process of writing a children's book. So can you share with us a little bit more about AI in the publishing industry?
So for me, I don't use AI to write the books, but I do use it as a tool for some of the other aspects of the business. So I may use it to help me write an email to send to a library or a teacher or some other type of administrative work that I need to do for the business. So that's how I usually use AI. From a writing standpoint, I may use it to come up with a plot device for a story, but as for actually writing the story, that's all me and an editor.
Yeah. But I think that's in general, I mean, in my experience, what I've found is AI can be helpful, but it's only as helpful as how much information you put in and how good good the prompts are, and actually for you to create that, for you to create that story, for you to make it resonate, it really has to come from within, doesn't it?
Yeah. So with the books, usually what I do first, I'll look at a city and see, okay, where are some of the famous landmarks in that city, and then I try to pick out landmarks that are not all close together but spread out throughout the city. Then I start to find maybe a plot device to use in the story, because I don't want my books to just simply be Elijah going to place A, B, C, D, and E. I want to have like a reason and a story behind it. Then I write the book in third person with like Elijah goes here, or Elijah says this to this character. And once I have it formatted in third person, then I'll go back again and start writing it in first person, adding actual dialogue and other action into the story.
Sorry, I put myself on mute because the dog was barking, and then realised I didn't take myself off mute, so you won't have heard that question.
Okay.
My apologies.
That's all right.
So really what you're doing is kind of breaking that story down and building it up in layers so that it gets that real depth of story, of character, of pull, I assume, for the children that are reading it. I love that. And how long does it take normally for you, once you've got the idea, to go from that ideation through to your finalized book ready to go to be published?
So the writing part, that can take as long as about a month and a half. It just depends on how fast I write the book, as well as how long it takes the editor to get her stuff together. As for illustrations, that can take up to about 2 months to 2.5 months, depending on how my illustrator, how her work is. And then as for the books being printed, that can take somewhere between 2.5 to 3 months. So in the entire process, it can be up to about 7 to 8 months to have an idea to having a finished product.
Wow. And I guess, I'm kind of learning this. I'm at early stages, but learning that whole part of like when your bit's done and then it goes to the illustrators, and then they're bringing your characters to life, and you've got to check that's done in the way that you foresaw those characters, isn't it? That they look how you expected them to look, and they're capturing the essence of it. And so it really does feel like a co-creation. Would that feel fair?
Yeah, it'll feel fair, because with my illustrator, first I had the writings done. Then once I had that done, I had like a sheet of paper where I will kind of like sketch some like ideas for what I want each page or spread to look like. And then I'll send them off to her with the sketches as well as some notes. And then I just let her do her magic. Since we worked on the first book, 2 books together, I was like, okay, she knows what I like. She knows how I like my artwork. So I just let her do her magic. And then if I got to go and just ask her, hey, change this or tweak this a little bit, other than that, it's been pretty smooth sailing.
So, which is great, isn't it? It's allowing the experts to kind of do their part and add their colour to it. So when you first got the idea and you were first thinking, right, I'm gonna write this children's book, and then you wrote it, can you talk us through your journey to getting it published? What approach did you take? So I get asked that a lot by people, which is how do you get it published? Where do you go? What do you what's that process look like?
So to get the book published, first thing I have is just having a simple word processor. So I got Microsoft Word on my phone as well as on my tablet, and just simply typing it out and putting it on your saving it as one of your files. That was the first step. As for all of the other things that go into it, like getting your barcodes or finding the illustrator, when it came to the barcodes to put on the back of the books, I went to a site called boker.com, and you can purchase like a bulk of ISBN numbers to put on the back of the book. So I purchased about, I think like 10 or 12, something like that. I purchased a big bulk of them. So that way I'll have enough for every version of the book that I release in the future. As for finding an illustrator, I went to art school that was here in Columbus, and I put out a job posting on their job website, and then I had a few people contact me, and that's how I found my illustrator. And once we were on the same page on what I wanted the book to look like and what her capabilities were, that's how that process went through. As for editors, I just simply looked for children's book editors on Google, and I found Brooke, and she was amazing because she had experience in doing children's books, and she just gave me straight up information, which I appreciated.
I love that. Because it can feel quite daunting, can't it, when you kind of got that first idea and then go, well, this isn't something I've done before. So how do I go through that process? And there's also that decision, isn't there, around, do you self-publish or do you take it through a publishing house? How did you go through that part of the journey?
I self-published, so I'm an independent publisher. I founded my own business here in Ohio, and I always just had the mindset is I'm the one that's coming up with the ideals. I was the one coming up with the character ideation. I just said, hey, let me try to do this on my own and see how far I can get on my own.
Yeah, I love that. Because it is, isn't it? It's like, yes, how do we bring that to life? How do we get involved? And I love that you then created a whole business and a company around that. So what are what's next for you and for your publishing arm?
So next is another Elijah book. So I do plan on having him go into Washington, D.C. either next year or very early in 2027, and also just continue the series. So he'll just keep going to different cities, different countries, and hopefully have like a huge series, a huge set of books, maybe somewhere around like 12, 15 books. And I could potentially bundle them up in like a package where I can just send kids 4 or 5 books at a time and just open the kids' eyes to travel and seeing the world. It's one thing to watch, I don't know, like the Elizabeth Tower or Big Ben on like a TV show or on social media. It's another thing to actually be over in London and see it in person.
Yeah. I mean, it does sit differently, doesn't it, when you see something in person? And one of the things I love most doing with my little girl is taking her places, traveling with her, so that she can actually see them in reality, because you get a different sense, don't you? A different feeling when you're physically there. But I think with a book, and I'd love your thoughts on this, but I think with the book versus like if you see it on a film or a picture or something, allows you to kind of imagine a little bit more how you're going to feel, because you've got to imagine it, haven't you? You've got to create those images and what the sounds and senses are going to be like around it. Is that one of the reasons why books were the route you went down?
Yeah, I just did that. So I remember when I was little, my mom will always give me books. So even back home in Cleveland, I still got a huge bookshelf full of children's books like Dr. Seuss and books on trains. And I just remember growing up, I always loved to look at those books and just imagine, oh, maybe someday I can actually either go to this place or I can either do this experience. So my view is to see if a kid in the future have that same feeling that I had growing up.
I love that. Really is about sparking that kind of interest in that next generation, isn't it? Into getting them to see that the world's a really big place. I'm so sorry about this.
That's all good.
The neighbour is daring to go to their very own home. I mean, it's ridiculous. I was pudding. Honestly. So throughout this process, and it's been going for a few years, so obviously you started it, as you say, during COVID. What would you say has been your proudest moment so far?
Proudest moment so far was there was a book show that I went to in 2023 for the Elijah Goes to Cleveland book. And it initially it just looked like a normal book fair, but the day before I had an issue with my car where the back window got bashed out, and I was panicking. I was like, oh, I got to drive about an hour away to get to this book fair. I got to figure out how to get my window fixed. So I was up in the morning calling repair shops, trying to get my window fixed. Eventually I got it fixed that day, and they told me that I had to be really careful when I was driving because it took like a week for the window to set in place. So then the day I was driving out to the book fair, I was being super careful, trying not to hit potholes or anything like that. And then when I got to the venue for the show, it was a pretty windy day. So I was inside the place where we had the book fair, and in the back of my head, I kept thinking that something was going to hit the back window of my car. And luckily nothing happened, but I would say that was probably one of my proudest moments, getting over a little bit of adversity and doing well at the book fair.
I love that. So talk to me about kind of what is it like at a book fair, and like just bring that bit to life, because I guess I've never been to one.
So it depends what the size of the book fair. So I've been to some where there's only about 12 authors, and I've been to some where there's about 100. So
Wow.
The story I just told about my car in that book fair, that was one where there was about 50 authors or so. And we had everybody at like a table, and it was spread out around the venue. So people could just kind of walk in like a circle and stop at each booth and see if they were interested in your book or what things they wanted to see at the show.
Oh, wow. I love that. It was a great idea, because obviously people are turning up because they've got a common interest, isn't it, in those books?
Yep. And I had pretty good luck with those shows as well. Like that show in particular, I think I sold about 20 books.
Wow. So worthwhile as well.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, because you've self-published, you get the benefit of all of that, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
You've got the illustrators and that, but you've not got lots of other people in there. So to become that author, to kind of bring that to life, you mentioned about one of your proudest moments being able to overcome a little bit of adversity. What would you say are some of the key values and strengths that you've had to demonstrate to be able to get to where you've got in this process?
I had to demonstrate consistency. So it's very easy. Sometimes it's easy for me to slack off and say, okay, I don't want to do this tonight. I don't want to do this tonight. But a lot of it is just being consistent and doing a little at a time. Like, you don't have to build Rome in a day. You just have to build little by little each day. And once you add that all up, you can have either a completed book or something administrative with the business could have got completed. So I say the biggest thing is just being consistent on what your goals are. And I will also suggest blocking out time. So you pick a certain time frame where hey, from like 9 to 11, I'm going to do book stuff. And then you just got to go in there and get business done.
I love that. It is about, I guess, being intentional, isn't it? Creating that time, saying this is what I'm going to be doing.
You got to be intentional. Time is not stopping for anyone. So you procrastinate long enough, next thing you know, it'd be 2028, and you would just say, hey, I had this idea for a story in 2025, and 3 years later, you still haven't put anything down. So yeah, time is not waiting for anyone.
Yeah. I love that about the whole piece about intentionality, because although I unintentionally wrote a book for my little girl, which was just a personal book that's now been picked up by somebody else, I've been intentionally writing a leadership book for about 2 years. And it wasn't until I actually, to your point, blocked out time till I put it in my calendar and made it have a purpose, made it be something that I had to consciously decide I was or wasn't doing, because I'd committed I was doing, that actually the book got finished.
There's been times where like I'll be at work and I'm thinking about something with the book and I have all these ideas stirring, but then at first I didn't actually block out the time to like, okay, I need to put pen to paper or keystroke to a blank document. And once I started doing that, that's when I started to actually made more headway in writing books or getting administrative stuff done.
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah, one of the things I used to be dreadful for was I'd have the world's longest to-do list, Mark. It'd be massive. Sometimes I'd write things on it that I'd done just so I could tick it off. Realised that wasn't very helpful. And actually, what I needed to do was be really strict with myself to go, what are the one or two things that absolutely need to get done to move the needle forward? Because actually then it was less overwhelming and you could get them done and you felt successful, so you could do something else. Have you found any hints or tips in your journey of things where you go, I'm glad I know it now, but I wish I knew it then?
Yeah. So one thing I wish I knew back when I started was with the first book, I put a map in the book, but I put it as like part of pages 30 and 31 as opposed to an end sheet. So I did a book signing at a bookstore in Cleveland, and the owner suggested with the map that I can make that into an end sheet instead of taking up real estate on or in the book. And with this Philadelphia book, I applied that to that book. So then when it came to writing a book, I had about 2 or 3 extra pages I can spare for the story.
I love that, because it is. I mean, when we first start out, you kind of, like with everything in life, you don't know what you don't know, do you? It's like you go with kind of what you know to that moment.
Yeah, I kind of remember that first story because I was more just throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what sticks and being carefree about it. Now that I got more knowledge and I'm more pragmatic on those books, I don't like for me, the first book was kind of like my baby, and I was very protective of it. And I knew it had to be edited or critiqued, and that comes with the territory. But now, since I've gone through that process a few times, now I'm not as emotionally attached to the books. I'm more pragmatic about it.
Yeah. And would it be fair to say, because I think, when we get feedback, it can often feel personal, even though it's not personal. We know it's not personal. It's personal, doesn't it? It feels like it's personal. And particularly when we're, I think when we're taking our first step into an area that perhaps we haven't done before, because that takes courage, doesn't it? It takes courage and bravery to step into doing something that you've never done. And therefore to have somebody kind of give you that feedback in that first instance, it can feel a little bit harsh, can't it? But actually, I think once you realise that actually the feedback was for the greater good, and that the end result was better as a result of the feedback, it makes the feedback next time easier to digest. Would that be fair?
Yep, that's exactly right. First time I got the book edited, or with my Cleveland book, I got that edited. My editor would suggest things, and initially I took it personally. It's like, man, what is she talking about? But then I thought about it. I was like, hey, I have one way of looking at the book, but the reader may have another way of looking at the book. So I have to consider that when I'm writing the book. So I may have one way of thinking, but a reader may have a different way of thinking, and it may not be clear to them. So I had to keep that in mind when I'm writing manuscripts and sending them out to editors. I got to keep in mind, like, the end result is the reader, not necessarily me per se.
Yeah, that is such a good point, because you write the book not for you, but for the person who's going to be reading it, don't you? And they may have a different perspective, or look at it in a slightly different way, or come up with something that surprises you. I know, for example, in the book I've just written, I shared it with somebody who read it and was like, "Oh, it emulates a such and such therapy," and I was like, "Does it? Didn't even know that was a thing." So. Certainly, without realizing it, I had managed.
Yeah, I had a few of those instances as well. And they're really useful, aren't they? Those moments where you go, I hadn't realized that, but okay, now I do know. That's good to know, because I can be more conscious of that when I'm doing it, when I'm writing, when I'm doing iterations. And I think it's that piece of would this be fair? I think when you're writing a book, whether it's a children's book or any book, it takes a lot of time and effort and concentration, and you reiterate your own version that many times, don't you? Go back and read it and like, oh no, I don't like that bit now, I'd say that a bit differently, or I move those bits.
that actually it needs to be read by somebody else because you're too close to it. You've kind of lived and breathed it for so long that you can't see for yourself things that actually, when somebody points them out to you, you're like, oh, that's right.
I would say that, like, if you go the journey of writing a book, get an editor, because most likely get an editor that's not like a friend or a family member. Get someone that's pretty neutral, because they're not going to be emotionally attached to the book, or they're not going to have an emotional attachment to you. They'll be more objective in their critique.
I love that. It's great advice, because I think, it's better, isn't it, to have somebody who's totally independent, who's going to look at it from the viewpoint of who you've written it for, rather than look at it from the viewpoint of, I know you and you've written it, so my feedback is tailored more to you. So what would your advice be to anybody listening or watching who feels they've got a book in them, whether that's a children's book, a fiction, a non-fiction, but they've got that idea, they've had it burning for a while? What would your advice be?
Put pen to paper. There's one thing that happened in your head, you need to put it on paper, or start typing on your word processor. That way you have it down where you actually see what you wrote, and then just write out whatever story you want to do, or type out whatever story you want to do, and understand that you're going to make some changes along the journey. It's not going to be a finished product the first time around, or even the 10th time around. You're going to always make some adjustment to that story.
I love that. That is great advice, because you've just got to get started, haven't you? And I think one of the things that I do, because sometimes the ideas come not at the time when it's most appropriate for you. Like, you've not got pen and paper, you've not got, you're not sat there, because the ideas come when the ideas come, don't they? Mine very often, Mark, are literally during the school run, when I'm like, I haven't got pen and paper, I've got to get to the school. So I use memos in those moments, and just quickly get on my phone and talk to myself on whatever it was that was going, just so that I can capture it and then write about it later. Do you have any tips like that you do, that you find have really helped you to craft that ideation process?
Yeah, sometimes I'll write some notes on my phone as well. Like, if it pops up, like if I'm out doing something, like going to the gym or something, and an idea pops up, I'll try to jot it down real quick, because most likely I'm going to forget it. Yeah.
It's because they can be so in my experience, the idea can be so clear and yet so fleeting. It's like, I'll remember that. And it's like, I don't remember it. That might be my age then, Mark, to be fair. It might be more that it's actually capturing it as you go, and kind of sitting with them, and allowing yourself to bring them to life can really help, can't it?
Yep.
So what would you, for anybody out there, so obviously the first thing they need to do is put pen to paper. You also talked about how you'd done quite a bit of research on Google into understanding the genre you wanted to write for, and to get some advice on that. So clearly doing research is also a good step in kind of understanding it. Did you also join any forums or anything where there was like-minded people that
So I joined a few organizations. One was the Independent Book Publishers Association, and they're the ones that helped me from like the business standpoint on being a publisher, being an author publisher, and learning tips and tricks on how to market books as well as sell books. Also joined another group, the Society of Children's Writers and Book Illustrators. So they understand the process of writing a book, or writing a children's book, and getting it formatted and edited and whatnot. And I joined another group at the beginning of the year called 12 by 12. So it's a group where you try to write 12 stories in 12 months. So I joined that group to try to incentivize me to write more books, or at least get the ideas down on paper. That way I can look at them later to make them even better and fix them up.
I love that. So, and how valuable has it been to be in those communities of people that are facing similar dreams and also similar challenges.
Yeah, it's very valuable because some of the people, they can give you a connection to, let's say, like a printer or somewhere where they talk to a lawyer and they get legal advice, or a teacher or a caretaker, sometimes your customers. So I realized over time that most of my customers are women, and a lot of women are in those areas. So I have to market to women in a lot of cases for the books.
I love that. And how did you go about identifying who your target market was? Because obviously you're writing for the child, but it's not the child who's going to be the purchaser, is it? So yep. although it's got to appeal to the child, because if not, they're not going to want it. It's also got to appeal to the parent that's going to pay, or the school, or the care worker, or whomever is the purchaser. How did you go about identifying that?
So what I did was once I had my age range set, I said, okay, what other value can I provide to the kid or parent or teacher that would incentivize them to buy the book? So for teachers, for this Philadelphia book, I made teachers' guides from kindergarten to third grade, where if you get the guide, it has to, well, I put the guide on a site called Teachers Pay Teachers for free, but the guide is kind of worthless if you don't have the book. So I kind of use strategies like that to sell the books, and also just simply provide value to either the parent or teacher. That way you can keep using the book for years to come.
I love that. And also, obviously, by adding that additional value, you're also unlocking them into the book, but you're also helping establish those characters more, aren't you? And then bring them to, so that people become more interested in what happens next. Where do they go next? What are they going to learn next on their journey? And also, you are adding value, which, you know, is, I think, what we all try and do, isn't it? Is serve better, so that we can make more of an impact. So the Elijah Goes to Philadelphia is out now. What's your next one going to be? Do you know?
My next one is going to be Elijah Goes to Washington, D.C. So the next few years, I plan on getting the East Coast cities, so like D.C., New York, and Boston, and then eventually bundle 3 or 4 of those books in a like a box set where I can sell those to schools and libraries and other corporations. And then also have the journey go internationally as well. So I'm thinking about going to Toronto, London, Sydney, Australia, Tokyo, and other cities around the world.
I love it. Because it will, I guess, build as you go, and will allow you, I imagine, once you've done the countries and the cities that you've already visited yourself, will give you a passport to go and visit some others ready for your next book. Would that be fair?
Yep.
Amazing. Mark, it's been such a delight to have you on. I can't believe we're nearly out of time. But before we go, how can people get hold of your books, and how can they get in touch with you?
So right now, Elijah Goes to Philadelphia is available on Amazon as a hardcover book, as well as a KDP digital download. So you can go to Amazon for that. Also, the book is available at bookandauthor.com. And that's a site if you wanted to book me for like an author visit or like a talk at a library or school, you can get the books there. And you can also get the books in bulk over there. As for reaching out to me, you can follow me on social media at Buckeye Muscle, and that's for Instagram, Twitter X, TikTok. You can also find me on LinkedIn at my name, Mark Darden, as well as my website, markdarden.com.
Anybody who didn't get that, please just look in the show notes below, and those details are available for you. Mark, it's been an absolute delight. Thank you so very much for coming on and sharing your journey, and Elijah and his journey so far with us here on USA Global TV and Radio. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Pleasure. And for everybody listening and watching, I hope you found it as insightful and inspiring you to go and put pen to paper and get that story that's in your head out into the world. Until next time, Take care.
In a world craving connection, one platform dared to dream bigger. USA Global TV and Radio, a beacon for global voices, authentic storytelling, and elevated listening. Led by visionary Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, the journey from a spark to a global force is now captured in one inspiring book. Honored with YouTube's Silver Creator Award for surpassing 100,000 subscribers. Discover the evolution, the challenges, the triumphs, and the unstoppable spirit that created a global movement. Executive producer Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang. Creative director Paul Garcia. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Now an Amazon #1 new release in paperback and ebook. Broadcasting Brilliance, the evolution of USA Global TV and Radio, is inspiring readers around the world. Join the movement that's redefining global media one story at a time. Conveniently located in the Cherry Hill Mall in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, Avio Art specializes in custom art and photography printing. From museum-quality canvas prints and stretching to photo restoration, fine art reproduction, and framing with museum-grade glass. Every service is completed in-house with exceptional attention to detail. Visit avioart.com or email support@avioart.com.
From the magical world of the amazing adventures of Lady Ella comes a heartwarming new journey filled with kindness, courage, and compassion. Lady Ella, the beloved ladybug and listening mentor, is back, and this time she is not alone. Meet her brave and thoughtful brother, Lord Jack. Together, they take flight on their very first kindness adventure. Along the way, they meet 3 new friends in need: a duck feeling discouraged, a mouse struggling to be understood, and a busy little bee who's completely lost. But with the power of elevated listening and simple acts of kindness, Lady Ella and Lord Jack show us how understanding and empathy can make the biggest difference in someone's day. Written by Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, the listening mentor, this 9th book in the best-selling Lady Ella series teaches children ages 5 to 10 the essential skills of listening, kindness, and etiquette. Now available for pre-order on Amazon. Scan the QR code and order your copy today.
USA Global TV and Radio, home of the YouTube Silver Creator Award, proudly presents Just the Thing for Your Ring, introducing the patented Ring Thing. Your premium personal ring holder to keep your ring safe, nearby, and avoid loss.
The Ring Thing just got smarter. Add your logo and an NFC tag that opens to your website with one tap. Waterproof, inner padding, and now a forever business card.
Just the thing for your ring. Scan the QR code seen here to learn more about Ring Thing or place your order. Follow Ring Thing on Instagram at ring_thing_ or go to our website ringthing.com.
Get ready to wear the brand that's changing the world of media. Introducing the official USA Global TV and Radio online store. From our TV show hosts to our incredible global guests, you asked, we delivered. Rep your appearance with pride. Whether you've been on air, hosted a show, or tuned in, we have something just for you. Visit us at usaglobaltvradioshoп.myspreadshop.com and start shopping today. Check back frequently. We're dropping fresh new designs all the time. Showcase your role in our global community. These designs celebrate your voice, your story, your presence. It's more than just merchandise. It's a movement of hope, inspiration, education, and elevated listening. Head to usaglobaltvradioshoп.myspreadshop.com. Your spotlight awaits. USA Global TV and Radio. Elevate your style. Elevate the world.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA-Global-TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.